that I believe very, very highly in. I've got a lot of conviction in Rocket Lab. I think they will be a powerhouse moving forward. That's more of a an accumulate and hold stock, in my opinion. I've got a Rocket Lab 2250. I think it's a 1227. Might be a 1220. I think it's a 1227. No, it's a 1220. That I really want to exercise and hold it. Which I'm a swing trader, so I don't really do a lot of long-term holding. But I feel like this could really be something that, propels us through the future. No pun intended.
Oh, I think you didn't intend that pun.
Maybe just a little bit. I'll be here all night, folks. All right, so right. Bitcoin's going back down. It's sort of retracing a little bit. We are just above 105. But that's sort of to be expected. There's probably a lot of limit sell orders in place. There's probably a lot of people that are seeing the price going, "Oh my God, I don't know. I made a lot of money. Let me take some profit."
Yeah. Yep. The profit takers.
Definitely.
Consistently.
I sent you guys the new stream link. You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Better than earlier?
And I'm just going to make a comment. You made the same picture as before. I mean, I guess, okay, I had one with rocket boots, and
is it the same link or a different link?
It's a different link, but I just sent it to you guys.
Oh, shit, okay.
I mean, it'll still take them to my channel. I mean, it doesn't matter, but...
I mean, MicroStrategy's going to the moon, so I guess it does fit.
Yep. I meant to put that other picture, but I couldn't save it, so... MicroStrategy, I hope it actually does retrace a little bit, so I hope it drops back down to like 112 overnight, because at open it'll just shoot back up.
Yes, give me time to buy calls.
Well,
yeah, it's definitely retracing.
Well, here, let me go to actual MicroStrategy.
I will say this: MicroStrategy's CEO is not Michael Saylor. It is Fong Lei.
Fong Lei, yeah.
So he actually manages the software company that is MicroStrategy, but the owner is Michael Saylor. I got that right?
MicroStrategy is a software company? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, MicroStrategy started out as a software company, and that's actually still considered to be their quote-unquote core business, because that's actually how they were able to join the Nasdaq 100. Otherwise, they would have been listed as a digital bank, which would have made them ineligible for the Nasdaq 100. So due to the fact that their original business was a software company, that's how they were able to get in.
Yeah, and oh yeah, that's true. So it's like their investment is Bitcoin, So it's how all the companies is performing with their profits in that sense, rather than the actual software company that it is that firm designs and develops, markets, and sells software platforms through licensing. And so I never used MicroStrategy. I guess it's used out there in the world.
Hey guys, I gotta go do something real quick. I'll be right back.
Oh no, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, it's been out since 1989. It was founded in Virginia. So these are all things that we got to consider with this particular stock, because the fair value right now, Bitcoin is 106,000 right now.
105.
105. Oh no, I'm just kidding. So like right now, the value of MicroStrategy is over 250,000 per Bitcoin, and there's just a lot of interest into this company, and it really drives up the price, over time. And this is why shorting actually occurs, because market makers are trying to bring the stock down to its fair value. Not necessarily because they like hate the stock. They just like, wait. This stock is way overvalued. So we're gonna have to do all these short positions and bring down the value of the stock to what it was. And for anybody that's buying, that's actually an opportunity, for somebody to get into a stock like this. But MicroStrategy's whole business, as for the stock goes, is its volatility. It has really high IV. It's constantly making $50 to $30 shifts a week on the price. It's really just like, if you're a shareholder, it's just another day. But I mean, back whenever it went up to $545 a share, and then it just dropped all the way down to like 380 within like 2 days. As a shareholder, I bet that could freak anybody out. And anybody holding calls, I mean, their calls just get decimated. So, these are all like factors to consider as far as it goes with this stock. Day zero, how many shares do you have in MicroStrategy? Day zero?
I'm here, sorry. Yeah, I definitely think that you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Like better than earlier.
Yeah, you actually sound pretty good.
Okay, I figured out my mic was turned backwards on my headset,
Ah,
so no one could hear me.
the old backwards maneuver.
The entire time I've been trying to sit here and talking to you guys, it's just been backwards.
Oh my gosh, you do sound much better.
Yeah, I figured, bro.
You
So
said earlier you had it in your mouth, so
yeah, earlier I had it in my mouth and you guys could still barely see me or hear me or whatever. So someone asked, so MSCU is splitting tomorrow 10 to 1. If so, I'll buy some when the price goes down. Yeah, that's what's
Yes.
happening.
oh yeah, everybody's gonna hop on MSTU whenever the price goes down.
I'm buying options
That's
on
why
that
they
shit.
split stocks, so more people can get involved.
Yeah.
So MST. Oh, sorry. Go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead. Well, I was gonna say that about splits. A regular split is really good, but a reverse split, something's going wrong with the company. So if you're in a stock right now and they're facing a reverse split, they're just trying not to get delisted.
Well,
So
the problem with MSCU is
So
their volume was starting to cut out because it was getting too expensive for people to buy into compared to the actual asset, which is MicroStrategy. It was kind of starting to get kind of high, so their whole thing is they split so they wouldn't have to, you know, sit there and
I
have
personally wonder
liquidity
the
issues.
process of that, of what they have to do, legally to split the stock like that, and who makes that decision. I imagine that Michael Saylor has like a meeting or something with Nasdaq or whatnot, and like I said, I've never really looked into it before, but I think it's interesting how companies are able to do this, and then they plan it, and then they notify all the shareholders. So, yeah, I don't really know the process, but as you can see, I have like a pretty good idea of how it works.
Correct.
New fish, you want to say something?
yeah, I'm actually looking for something here that I found before. So MST, what is it? MSTU is doing the 10 to 1, and then I think it's MSTZ that's doing a 1 to 25. Is that what it is? I'm trying to find, somebody texted me this stuff earlier. I'm trying to find it right now.
And MSTZ is like MSTU, but the opposite direction, right? It's for going down in the stock price.
I'm not sure. I didn't even know about it.
Oh, really? Okay, MSTZ. Let me look into it real quick, because I've never got into it myself. It's
Hey, you
it's
remember
83 cents.
Northrop Grumman? No, that was on our list. New fish?
Unavailable. Hmm.
New fish?
Okay.
Say it again. Sorry, I'm trying to respond to messages on After Hour at the same time.
Northrop Grumman, man.
Northrop Grumman. What's the What's the ticker on
They
that?
were on that list. They were on our list. Let me see.
Oh, you know who else was on our list? Axon, who just made Nasdaq 100 was on our list. Is Northrop
NOC.
Grumman NOC?
NOC. But
Yeah,
guess what they're
NOC is
guess what they're
Northrop
getting
Grumman.
into? Guess what they're getting into?
Tell me.
EV-toll for the U.S. government.
Oh, I wonder if that's
Oh,
what's been flying around Jersey.
is that going to hurt ACHR? Because isn't that their whole
Yeah.
thing?
No, this is for the government. Archer. No. Archer. So that's part of the whole Uber play. So basically, Archer and Joby are going to sit here and compete for the UAE and for Abu Dhabi, right? To do the eVTOL stuff because Abu Dhabi and the United Arab Emirates are both like really trying to get that in there ahead of the United States and all that. So what Uber's trying to do is Uber's been, I think it's Joby that they were definitely investing in one of these companies really heavily, but I think it was Joby. Basically, Uber didn't want to front run eVTOL, so they stepped out of it. They stepped out of self-driving cars, but they started investing in the technology instead to partner with those companies to then make money off of those companies without having to worrying about maintenance costs or development. So I don't think
Ah,
Uber's going to get left
smart.
behind in the long run. I think they're already thinking way ahead of where people think they are, and I think they're going to get in on the self-driving car stuff without having to worry about the maintenance or the car costs. Because those Google cars, I forget what they're called, if you guys have it off the top of your head. But the self-driving Google
Waymo.
cars, Waymo, those cost 120 grand per car.
That's kind of crazy.
So how smart do you think Uber is staying out of that and then partnering with whatever self-driving car company they can and then just profiting off of that instead of having to front run all those costs? They're definitely ahead of the market on that one.
Well, and then they can also just license it out too. They can license the technology out.
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, like at the end of the day, yeah, Northrop Grumman's dropping like crazy right now. Like compared to October 4th, it's down to $480 from 536. I
oh wow.
really, yeah. I don't see them staying down that low either. I think they're gonna test that
Northrop Grumman.
Yeah, ticker is NOC.
because that's on our list.
Yeah,
That's the only
I
reason I was
see.
looking at it. I was looking through our list.
So were you saying as far as VTOLs, like this is like for military, and then the other one is more like private
Yeah,
for ACHR Archer? Okay, so they're kind of splitting
it's
that
not
there.
just eVTOL.
You know,
It's
you
like VTOL in general. Like I mean, you know, it's like the Call of Duty VTOLs you saw in like Black Ops 2 and stuff.
yeah, it's all coming to life.
Yep,
All
it's all
right.
coming to life, man.
All right, I'm gonna check back at
So
Bitcoin.
jumping over to Master real quick, MicroStrategy. It's
MSTR.
gone down. It's at 437.40, and MSTX is at 119.
Is that good? Yeah, it's good.
It
I
started at
mean,
125. It's down 4.8%.
like all this doesn't really
15%.
matter until market open tomorrow,
Exactly.
right? Uh,
What's funny is MicroStrategy's up 6.69%, while the 2x Bitcoin Strategy ETF is only up 5.74%. That's pretty nuts.
that is really nuts.
Mara is up
Uh,
5.8%.
Damn.
mm,
I just sold my Mara.
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay. It's only $24 right now.
So
Like
what you're saying is
Mara's
I
been
still be
like,
down.
just saying, don't cut your loss. I mean, don't feel like you lost much, I guess, when it comes to Mara. I mean, I was in it for the longest time and it didn't really do much, so then I got out. I can't remember if I got out with a profit. I might have, but I those that amount, I put it into MicroStrategy, and I think it's doing pretty well. It's just the real play with Bitcoin is MicroStrategy, and the second play with Bitcoin, I mean, it could be Mara, but I mean, compared to how much Bitcoin MicroStrategy has, I would say the better bet is on MicroStrategy. And it has so many different ETFs with it, So, you got MSTY, MSTU, MSTX, MSTZ. That's all there for a reason. What does Mara have?
Well, look, Mara recently changed their business model to reflect MicroStrategy's business model. But then on Friday, I read, and I can't remember who it is. Maybe it was Hut. I'm not sure. But somebody else said that they were changing their business model to reflect that of MicroStrategy's. But it was another Bitcoin miner. So that's the difference between those guys, is that, we'll use Mara as the example. They're mining, but then they're also going to be buying Bitcoin like MicroStrategy does.
Does that mean they're not mining enough Bitcoin if they are also buying it?
So if you want to catch up to Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy, none of the miners can. It's not possible for them to mine enough to catch up, right? Because Saylor's been buying for so many years.
Since 2020, I believe.
Right. So Saylor's been buying for, 4.5 years, let's call it. And
they're just mining it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're mining it. And then Mara was, I think they were doing like 5 to 10 a day. Now they just upped their hash rate. So I heard that they can do up to 25 coins a day now, which is great. And it's a huge improvement. But at the same time, 25 Bitcoin a day, while it might be a lot of money, it's not going to get you to the Michael Saylor, the MicroStrategy level. So that's why Mara was doing the convertible bonds.
Yep. It all ties together,
Also,
You
Core Scientific, that's another one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in Cores.
Cores is a great company. I made a lot of money with them. I like their business model. I understand their business model. They're not just Bitcoin.
Yeah, no.
Well, they're another mining company, and they're
not just mining. They're getting into AI hosting and what's the other
They'll be
thing they're getting
selling
into?
power.
I forget. No, not just
that's
that,
the whole
but
thing about Cores is the power aspect of the company.
Right. So they're going to be selling power. They've got, I think they just built new facilities out in Austin. And it's a lot of empty space right now, but they're going to be hosting, they could host a data center. They could host,
center.
What's that?
That's the word I was looking for, was data center. AI hosting and just a data center.
Yeah. And then they can also sell power to other people. So they've got a couple of different avenues that they can go down. I like Core Scientific a lot. I learned about that from at Ferrari Fund on After Hour. He's extremely bullish on cores. He's made a lot of really good money on cores. And everyone finds their love when it comes to miners. And you've got a couple of different ones, but Cores is for Ferrari Fund.
Yeah, Clean Desk. We got Cores. We got Mara. I know there's quite a few of them.
Clean Spark, I think you meant.
Did I say? What did I say?
I think I heard Clean Desk. But yeah,
Clean Spark. That's the one.
Clear Spark. Yeah.
You know, when I look at the ticker, I think Clean Desk, and
right.
you can kind of see it.
Right.
You can say Clean Desk.
I did, yeah. I'll be honest. I've always called it Clean Desk. I never really invested in it. I'm just like, oh, there's Clean Desk again. At $12. So, all right, but it's Clean Spark. See, I learned something today. So,
Let's see here. It's only down 5%. Big deal.
That's what I'm saying. It's nothing, bro. We chilling.
I'm not worried about it right now.
What
oh
What
no,
I
you're
want-
worried about it.
Did Avgo keep running?
What's that? You thought I was worried about it, man? You better think again.
I bet you wish it was still 440.
MicroStrategy is 437 right now. Keep everyone posted. Bitcoin is 105 to 11.
Going back up a little bit.
180. Yeah, it went up $2,811 today. It's really pushing.
What's that? Bitcoin?
Yes.
Yeah. So Bitcoin had some really funny stuff going on. It would, at Warren Buffett on After Hour put up some good screenshot where there was a sort of a fake sell wall and a buy wall. It was a little odd the way that everything was going. And I wasn't sure what was happening. I didn't know whose trap it was. But it managed to work and get the price up there. We saw $106,000 today in Bitcoin.
We did. And almost 107,000. And it might get there this week.
Oh, it
Nobody
will.
knows.
I know. Joking.
I wonder
No,
that big green candle that we see there that kind of started all this off. I wonder if that was MicroStrategy. I wonder if they've added a green dot today. I'm not very sure.
Sailor tweeted out that somebody needed to add a green dot. I saw that this morning. I think he tweeted it at like 4:05 a.m. that someone needed to add a green dot.
Well, if no one knows what we're talking about when we say green dot, that's every time MicroStrategy buys Bitcoin, and usually it's in the billions. And
it is.
Yeah, and they have the Sailor tracker, and it's just a graph for the whole year, and it's just filled with green dots. So that is that's what that is when we say that.
That's right. And I'll give him another shout out at the Hitman on After Hour. Really good about posting a lot of Michael Saylor tweets or tweets that have to do with Saylor and MicroStrategy.
Definitely. So do you think Bitcoin could try to run back up to 106, 107 tonight? Or do you think it's done running? I think it's only 7 o'clock.
Yeah,
It's before midnight. I mean, anything's possible. I mean, just another one of those green, bars, and I think that think it might get there.
Because usually
switch
that
over to candle
105
here.
push would have happened around 11. So, I mean, it kind of happened early.
I think there's a lot of
someone was saying Europeans were buying it up today too.
So
I don't know how much truth there is in that one.
I'd put some stock in that. The Europeans buy, at different hours. I mean, right now really isn't the time for European markets. It's usually a little later.
Yeah, it's close to 11 o'clock mark. We're seeing kind of the pushes previously.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I remember one Saturday night, I think it was a Saturday night, or maybe it was a Friday. I'm pretty sure it was a Saturday night. I was just up until about 2:45 in the morning. And I was just going back and forth with the Hitman. We were like, but this price, but this price, but this price, but this price. And Bitcoin was just shooting through the roof.
It surprises all of us, it's full of surprises.
MicroStrategy should be up a lot higher than it is right now with I mean, Bitcoin went up 3%. MicroStrategy went up 6%.
I
So are we
I
only
I
on
just
that?
stopped having any. Yeah, I stopped having any sort of correlation between MicroStrategy and Bitcoin.
Okay.
I know. Whenever all of a sudden Bitcoin starts going up, so does MicroStrategy. But then it just goes all over the place, and I think you all know what I mean when I say that.
Yes, we do. It's a roller coaster.
Yeah, there's no correlation. I think there's an initial correlation, but I think that's about it. I mean, if you see Bitcoin just gearing up, then more than likely MicroStrategy is following suit. But yeah, it's just one of those things. You just got to kind of accept.
Yeah. So
I
it
hope,
looks like I'm getting a lot of messages from various people on either Discord or on After Hour. But it looks like everything's just sort of following suit with Bitcoin right now. Sometimes there are anomalies where the 2x leverage won't follow exactly um, MicroStrategy, or MicroStrategy won't follow exactly Bitcoin, but it looks like everything's following along as it should right now.
Yeah, it looks like
yeah,
MicroStrategy's MNAV is at 2.0, and then Palantir's up, obviously on its own news of inclusion. So looking at it, Palantir's up 3% overnight though. So realistically, you'd expect that 3% on MicroStrategy on top of whatever the MNAV on Bitcoin is. So I mean, like, if Bitcoin's up 3%, the MNAV on MicroStrategy should have it sitting at around 6%, plus an extra additional 2% based on the inclusion news. So it should be up about 8% right now, and it's not really tracking that
Oh,
number.
that's a good
that's because
point.
market open hasn't occurred yet.
That's
Yeah,
true. Yeah, and
That's when everything's gonna go crazy.
when you're looking at that 3% on Bitcoin, that's for the whole day, whereas the 5.83% we're seeing on MicroStrategy being up is only 38 minutes old. We started out with one decent sized green wick or green candle with wicks on both ends, and then we have three small red cell bars after that.
yep.
So people could be taking some profits here.
Mm. Did you already go over your MSTX play?
I posted it on After Hour. I thought I went over it here, but I'll do it again. I put $1,000 into MSTX, and the reason I did that is because that is a 2x leverage um, following MicroStrategy. So, and I believe they're doing it on a covered call strategy. Um, so my thought process here is to let that profit a little bit for me, probably take like 20-25% profit, and then I'll flip that over into MSTY. And the reason I'm going to do that is because MSTY pays a dividend of, I believe the last one was $4.74 per share. And I would like to have that coming back in. And what I would do is I would do what's called a DRIP, where it's a dividend reinvestment program. So every month when the dividends come in, I won't be taking the cash into my portfolio. I'll be using the dividend cash to buy more shares, which will in turn make me more profit, which will in turn bring me more dividends, which will in turn bring me more shares. It's just a rinse and repeat monthly. It's a
Yeah,
good it's
that's
a
beautiful.
it's a good way to create a little bit of passive income as well.
And I saw the post from the Hitman on After Hour talk. He was, I think you brought this up too, but yeah, he complimented you on that play, and I
Yeah.
might follow suit too because I did get some shares too on Friday of MSTX, and yeah, I just think that's a really good idea.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't look like much is going to happen right now. But nonetheless, I'm staying up for many hours to watch it.
Are you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because this could pop off at any time. This could pop off at 1 o'clock in the morning. This could pop off at 3. This could start really popping off at 4 a.m. when institutions do their liquidity sweeps.
I would bet on 11 p.m. just because that's usually when Bitcoin runs for some reason. My time, so
Oh,
that's
okay.
midnight your time.
Yeah, midnight on the east. Okay.
That's
That
Oh,
makes
really?
European
sense.
Is that a proven track record?
if you look back, I mean, the last two times Bitcoin went like broke through the resistance was in pretty late hours. Yeah, and that's usually when the European markets open. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, wow. I did not know that. I actually have noticed it towards the end of the night, going up.
Okay.
I didn't know if that was a constant kind of thing.
It's happened
Um,
twice, and I mean, from what I've noticed, you know what I mean?
Looks
well,
like a
here's
lot
an
of
idea.
people. Looks like a lot
Yeah,
of
here's an
people are
idea.
following my.
Sorry.
Sorry, just real quick. Looks like a lot of people are following my MSTX idea, and I got to thank the hitman for reposting my signal on it on his page on After Hour. Looks like a lot of his followers are taking this play as well as just like he did.
Yeah, that's awesome. What's your price target or your target price? When are you going to cut it? Are you just going to give yourself a certain amount of time, or is there a certain, like, if it's like 500, you're just like, okay, I'm selling?
I need
So, I mean,
MicroStrategy to
that's a
go to
really good
500.
question. Would you say, D0?
I need MicroStrategy to at least go to 500.
It could.
So, with MicroStrategy, I'm really hoping that it can hit 550
I
by
just hope he doesn't
1227.
dilute. If he can just hold off of diluting this, if he can hold off from
Yeah.
diluting, I mean, we'll be good. It's just because this stock would already be well over 600 if he hadn't diluted since that first that first instance. But he just keeps diluting every time, and that's why it's at 433 and not over 600. Because when it
I
was at
remember.
550, if it hadn't diluted once since then, it would be sitting around like 750 or 800 right now. I don't think it would be sitting around 433. But it does lead him to
Well,
be able to buy more Bitcoin, which is what you're about to get into.
Uh-huh.
exactly.
Exactly.
So every time he dilutes, he uses that money to buy more Bitcoin. So that's good. And actually, I'm going to pull up fintel.io right now, which is where I get my short share information, because I want to see what the short stuff is looking like on MicroStrategy.
I mean tomorrow at market open, probably fucking. I mean, my bad for cussing, but probably about like 40 to 50%. That's what the company,
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
if
So
not already
it
there.
looks like the shorts backed off a little bit
That's good.
towards
I
the end
think
of.
they do that whenever there's a inclusion like this for the Nasdaq. I think they tend to back off on stocks. I think
Yeah.
it's not till after it is an inclusion that's when they start to, short a lot.
Well, they were.
Now, yeah, look at ARM, and they were in the Nasdaq 100, and they blew up, and shortly after they came back down. 1 second. I know it's called ARM Holdings. Back in June, they actually were included into the Nasdaq 100, and you can see the chart there that there's just a bunch of buying and buying and buying, and then about maybe a month or so afterwards, that's when everything started coming down. And I'm kind of looking at this as like a guidance of what to expect with MicroStrategy. There's going to be a lot of price upward movement, but then it's going to come right back down maybe after a month once the shorts start to do their thing.
Right.
And right, that's kind of smart way to look at it. Just to see what a previous stock has done, in the past, and what was the effect of it. Because essentially it went right back down to its level before the inclusion. So technically, that means that we might see MicroStrategy in a month to go back down to 410.
I mean, anything's possible. I just need it to be at 550 or above by 1227. That's all I need. I'm trying to make it like 10 to 12 grand on a call.
That's
Which,
what I
like,
want as well.
52x on after hour.
Well, I mean,
which
hey
you
guys,
did.
let's not forget, I've done two MicroStrategy calls. The first one that I did, I had actually just pulled into the parking lot to pick my son up from school on a Friday, and I bought the call at like 3:15, and then I sold the call Monday for a $5,000 profit. And then I think it was Tuesday, I went back in and bought another call, and I had to hold that one for a week, but I made like another 6 or 7 grand on it. So it's possible to make some really great money on these MicroStrategy calls.
Is it time for my story?
I'd love to hear your story.
Oh, okay.
Let's go
So
ahead and
I
share
think
your story, Darren, because we had those calls, we had the same calls at the same time. Please,
yes.
let's share your story.
So we got MicroStrategy 350 calls. I got 2 of them when it was around 330, I think. And the stock went up to like 400. And then I'm like, what do I do? Because I'm just sitting here, with 1,000%, gains or whatnot. And I had to come up with a trading strategy, and so I said, if it goes to 415, I'm gonna sell. So I did end up selling my calls at 415, and I made a really good profit. I think I made like 9,000 in profit off of those 2 calls. And guess what happened? MicroStrategy went up to $530. I still had the week left on my calls, and
you would
that
have made like
that would have
30K.
been $40,000 with those 350 calls, and that would have been my best trade ever.
And
I
that's
would have
where
been a
my
hero.
issue was too, because I don't know if you remember New Fish, but I had 2 really good calls, and I kept pushing them out and kept pushing them out for worse calls, dude. I could have definitely held those like short-term calls, and I could have printed like 40, $50,000 as well, but I sold them for longer dated
I do
calls.
I do remember that. I have a price target in mind for my
I took
415
profit. I mean,
1227
that's what matters.
MicroStrategy. What's that?
At least I took profit. That's all that matters.
Hey,
Yes, that's what we tell ourselves.
that's the reason why why we do this. Profit, not loss.
Uh-huh.
Um, I have this like 550 price target in mind for my 415 MicroStrategy 1227 call. Um, and I have a trading plan as well, which I follow with every trade except for MicroStrategy, because MicroStrategy, due to the volatility, just doesn't fit into my trading plan, so I have to sort of throw it out the window. But I'm really not sure what I'm going to do with that call. If it hits 550, I think I make like $10,000 or $12,000. But if it hits 550, let's say Wednesday, Thursday, maybe I hold it. I'm not really sure. What I think is going to happen is I think there'll be a little bit of an increase in share price on Monday. I see a dip on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I see a little bit more of a bump as the different ETFs that cover the Nasdaq 100 as they have to buy in. I think they only have to buy like 2.5% of whatever it is that they of their holdings. I think MicroStrategy has to represent 2.5% or some 2.3, something like that, 2.1. So it's not going to be $1,000 a share increase, but I definitely see it pushing the stock price up.
Definitely.
If it mimics ARM Holdings, it could be going up for a month straight. I mean, it may not be like, huge gains, but it could just be upward trajectory, for a month straight. And then by next month, we should start seeing the downside to 410. And that's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. There will be a downside, and if people are not familiar with MicroStrategy, I think we need to make this disclaimer.
Not financial advice.
Yeah, not financial. We make no financial. We give no financial advice here. This is for entertainment purposes only. But no, we need to make this disclaimer that MicroStrategy is not a stock for the faint of heart.
No.
At one point, my portfolio was about between shares and calls. My portfolio was, I think, 98% MicroStrategy. And man, I used to make this joke all the time, is that MicroStrategy almost sent me to the hospital about three out of 5 days a week due to cardiac arrest. Like, it is a wild roller coaster stock. You can make a lot of money. If you get scared and pull out at the wrong time, you can lose it all. If you don't know what you're doing with options, what's that, Day Zero?
When I sold my calls and I switched it to shares, obviously my shares went down $11,000. But I was selling covered calls all the way down, so that helped mitigate the loss. I made like over $8,000 in call options, covered call options on the way down. So not only did I make the money off of the original, the options money that I made off of MicroStrategy, I also made money selling options while the shares were decreasing in value. Um, so it's definitely, you need to definitely make sure you know what you're doing, because if I hadn't sold covered calls, like my portfolio would probably be worth half of what it is right now. And it left the upside potential there. So like I can still make that 11K back on my shares, while also selling covered calls on the way up. So there's a lot of potential for money there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably
Yeah, I
sell
definitely
covered
want to at
calls
least
tomorrow.
I at least want to get at least 100 shares of MicroStrategy. Right now I have 60, and I'll be able to do cover calls too. And I think that's a great way to just make
MSTU
extra.
is going to be so
So.
cheap tomorrow. It would be so cheap to just buy up 100 shares of MSTU and sell covered calls on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was actually thinking that earlier.
That's probably the best way to do covered calls until you can get up to 100 MicroStrategy shares.
The difference between selling covered calls on MSTU and
Now the
MSTR.
volume is going to be so high on them that it's going to be really easy to do.
Well, the difference in my mind is that so if MSTU share price is inexpensive, then it makes it much easier for people to exercise their calls. My thought process on MSTR and selling covered calls, as I was explaining this morning to some of the OGs on After Hour. I was talking with at Warren Buffett and at Squeeze Kid, and I was telling them, selling covered calls on MicroStrategy is actually a really great idea for a couple reasons. One, the premium is just juicy. The premium is really juicy, and you can make a lot of money just there. And then after that, a lot of people aren't exercising those calls.
Right, because they're too expensive.
That's the thing. A lot of people aren't exercising those calls because they're too expensive.
Not everyone has.
Yeah, they're just cashing out.
Yeah.
People do, but it's pretty rare. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. I do have a question about let's see here. MSTZ. It's negative 2x inverse exposure, and right now it's trading at 83 cents.
That's because it got a 1 to 25 split.
It's probably not a bad idea to get those, so you can hold on to them till next month when we expect the drop, or when I expect the drop. And, because we all know this stock is not going to keep going up.
Buying
It's going to have
options
its
in those
moments.
would be wild, dude. Watch those like print, dude.
Yeah. And then on top of that, you could buy calls on them too, and
That's what I'm saying.
possibly, makes. Yeah. But right now, it looks like you can only buy MSTZ.
Oh, really? Usually that type of
That
stuff
looks like
has
the.
calls, but
So you can buy MSTZ but not MSTU right now?
Hold on, it gave me a notification when I was up there. Pending corporate action, so it's
yeah,
unavailable right now.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it looks like MSTZ has actually done. Yeah, MSTZ has done pretty horrible the last 3 months because the MicroStrategy's been going up instead of down. But after a month, we'll probably come back to this. Uh, I had something I wanted to talk to you about.
That's kind of funny.
Um,
Let me see if Moderna is available on overnight hour.
Oh, because you got a put for Moderna mRNA stock ticker. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, tomorrow morning, I think we'll see maybe a sell off.
Wait, did you have Moderna?
And that's what you're looking for too.
We do have a green candle as the last. Yeah, I bought two $42 Moderna puts.
How are those doing?
Because I had a good feeling that they were going to get delisted from the 100, from the Nasdaq 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say one more thing about the volatility of MicroStrategy is when I had those 350 calls and it was $400 at the time, I was still concerned. And I've never been $65 in the money on a stock before. So that's just the kind of stock this is even when you're in the money like a lot, you just know that there's a possibility that you could lose like 20 points in one day or more, or even go out of the money within a day. So yeah, I was still concerned even though I was so in the money, and I've never felt that way before on any stock that I've been in the money with. So
I'll put it this way. I remember. Go ahead, Desir.
Did you follow X52 into those hood calls?
Which hood calls was he talking about? I already had some. I still have
Some way out of the money ones, dude. And I jumped in with them, so I can tell you exactly what calls it is. Give me 1 second. I'll pull it up.
I think he was talking about some 70 or 6, not 70. I think he's talking about $60 calls.
They're doing pretty good now, dude.
Yeah, Hood's trading at 41.09.
They're $45 calls for 12.27. And they're printing right now.
yeah, I tried to get them, but I was unsuccessful. Because you know how you can limit your order, you're like, I don't want to spend $5 more.
Right.
And I didn't get them. So usually whenever a stock is going up, it's harder to buy a call for them. They're going to want, more premium for it. So yeah, I had a $38 hood call, but it expired on Friday. I had to actually go look at that just now because I was like, oh wow, if that expired this week, then that was a bad trade on my part because I could have made way more if I just held on to that. But it did expire on Friday, so I'm not feeling too upset about that.
Yeah, I had a $38 hood call that expired Friday, so I sold it last week when it was in the money. So that was good. And then I had three $40 contracts calls on Hood for 117. I needed a little bit of money to do something last week, so I ended up selling one of the contracts. So I still have two Hood $40 calls, 117. And I plan on exercising one of those when the time comes around.
I don't blame you.
Definitely.
Hood is a stock I believe in that I think. I mean, I know it's going to be around, but I think this price is going to go up. Their price was just updated by, I believe, Goldman to $53.
Yeah. So hopefully that works out.
Right?
Another gainer from Bitcoin people probably don't think about, Tesla.
Oh yeah.
I think they put what, $1 billion into Bitcoin, years ago, and now that's worth a lot more. So, but wow, just Tesla, the elections, the new administration, 441.42 is what we're looking at. I think we were talking last week, or actually it was Friday, New Fish, and you're like, should I buy a Tesla call?
I know,
And
right?
I told you yes.
And then I got focused on other stuff, and I just friggin' forgot about it, man.
And now it's 441.47. So
500.
It was 413 when we were talking.
I know. And I told you, I have this thing, Tesla call Fridays, where right when the market opens, I'll just buy a Tesla call that ends 0 DTE. And more often than not, I've made money doing it. This last Friday, though, all my money was tied into Rocket Lab because I really saw it going to 25, and it missed that mark. So
It went to like 24.50, I think.
Yeah, but the whole week it just consolidated. But anyways, my money would have been much better spent if I bought a Tesla call like I usually do on Friday. So if anyone wants to join me on those next time I do them, it's just called Tesla Call Fridays. Very easy. You just buy a Tesla call on a Friday and hope for the best.
Set a calendar reminder.
I think what, $200 risk, and then you can make possibly thousands, like you would have made on Friday.
Right.
You fish. Yeah,
I would have. Could have. Didn't.
Yeah. So yeah, we discussed about Bitcoin, Palantir, MicroStrategy. So is there anything else you wanted to conclude with?
Let's just give some final prices here, I think.
Yeah, Bitcoin's sitting at around 105.5. I could definitely see it running further tonight. Palantir's up 2.71% overnight, which is 78.13. SoFi is up about 1%, up to 1640. MicroStrategy's up 6.47% in its base asset. I'll get to MSTX here in a second.
MSTX is 117.70.
Right. So it's up 11.62%, which makes me happy. And then Tesla's up 1.18% to
Yeah, I
431.
bought it at 102. So I'm hoping that price just keeps going up come Monday morning.
You bought MSTX at 102?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Well, if
I'm down
MicroStrategy went to
5.84.
500, right? That would be
What's that?
I said if MicroStrategy went to 500, that would be really good for MSTX.
Oh yeah.
That's why I bought it.
It would go up about what, $65 on MicroStrategy. So what would that be for MSTX?
Well, I think if you look back at the chart, it was
120,
146, right? Wasn't it 146 when it was over 500?
Yeah.
So even then, that's really good for any investor who bought into that.
I think it went up to like 190 at one point. like I think was its high. It'll probably its 52-week high. Let's see, 220, bro. Oh gosh, it jumped up to 220 during that time.
That must have been whenever it went to 530, because I think it went to 530, right? And then it had its
I'm
drop.
about to check what it went to. I'll tell you here in a second. So
And I'm
that was
telling you,
at
as
the
a
time it went
shareholder, that
to
was
543.
543. Wow.
oh my, yeah. And as a shareholder, you can only imagine how that felt. Like you're just not really sure if it's at the top yet, and then it just dumps.
Pretty much right
So
at the top, I sold a call option, and I sold my I sold all my calls that were naked calls, right? I bought 100 shares of MSTX, and then I sold out a covered call on it, and then you just see the stock price dump, and I was like, oh man, at least I made some premium, and I kept on selling premium all the way down, dude. So thankfully I made 8 grand off the premium, but like I'm down 11K on the shares, which is no longer down 11K. I believe overnight tonight
yeah,
went up that little bit.
as it was going down, I panic bought MSTY. And
Yeah,
something though about MSTY is the price doesn't automatically reflect per the
because it's
price of
covered calls. Yeah,
MicroStrategy. It's like a lag. Yeah, so like I bought them at like the top, and I got a bunch more MicroStrategy MSTY shares, but I was able to average down when it came down again. But sometimes panic buying is not the best thing to do.
definitely. And then there's the whole fact of like, so now I'm only down 8 grand on it, so I'm actually up on that investment. I have $15,000 in shares right now. That was down to 10,000 a few days ago.
Yeah, and
Um,
by the end of the week, you could be up to 25.
oh, I'm gonna sell as soon as possible. Uh,
You're done with the
If you
roller
could,
coaster?
if you could only
no, I'm gonna
predict,
wait for it to
right,
go up.
whenever the top is.
I'm gonna sell at my top, which is 500.
So that's I'm the MSTX is not a long hold for me. It's just to make a quick profit. I was hoping that I could flip it in a couple hours tonight. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. But I'll probably end up selling my MSTX when I sell my
What did you buy it at?
MicroStrategy call.
What did you buy it at?
I bought 125. I bought right at the open. I didn't even wait
Dang.
because I just saw a huge green candle.
Yeah, there's a couple people in the chat that were saying they bought, like, they FOMO'd into it.
Mine wasn't FOMO. Mine was
No,
my
yours
plan. I was
is.
posting on after hours. I'm buying at exactly 8 o'clock. Like
Why didn't
that
you
was
have
my
a,
plan.
oh, because you
You
can't,
did
because
it.
it's overnight. I was gonna say, why didn't you put
What's
a
that?
limit? I was gonna say, why didn't you put a limit buy in, but I don't think you can since it's overnight, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you're at
Correct.
market
stupid.
price.
That's so stupid.
It's actually worse. You're at overnight market price. So
Right.
Yeah,
you're taking a little bit of a risk there. But I think it was a good play.
I think it was a good play. I
I
think
don't think I'm going to
open,
regret it.
if it opens above 114.5, I think it'll be a good play. If it
I
opens
mean, even
113 or lower for some reason, I don't know what's gonna happen.
look, I'm willing to watch this one just because it's MicroStrategy and literally anything can happen with this stock. I
Yeah, I
mean,
agree.
I've seen $50 swings in pre-market. I've seen $75 swings during the regular session. I mean, it's just it. This is a crazy stock, as Michael Saylor says. Volatility is built in. You know,
Yeah,
it's the
it's
most.
designed that way.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Someone just said
designed that way. So
crazy.
it.
Sailor tweeted about being listed on Nasdaq 100 on Wednesday, then deleted his tweet, then formally announced it on Friday.
I didn't catch that, and a lot of people like. I imagine that at Addict on After Hour would have seen that and posted it,
I think
but
he did, and then I think he did. I don't
He's
remember.
he's on top of it, or he has a bot. I haven't figured it out yet, but
So at Addict on After
He
Hour,
does have a
he's
bot.
got a 10% movement uh, alarm on his phone. So that's why he's always getting all the halt information and stuff like that. If you don't
yeah.
follow, if you're on After Hour and you don't follow at Addict, you should. The guy gives great up to the minute information that can be very, very helpful to a trader. Whether it means you need to buy or whether it means you need to sell. He finds a lot of great stuff on Twitter and posts it right away.
Like, do you think it's actually him doing it, or do you think he got a bot?
He's working on a bot, but I don't think he has a bot yet.
Because he is like on point every time, just like up to date
Yep.
every single time. Been watching this whole Bitcoin price movement. I don't even have to go on X. He just already has it updated.
So about that, I will say this: he and I both posted like within seconds of each other about Bitcoin doing 105 or 106 or one of those two, and then he commented right on my post. He was like, "We're both watching this live," and so I know that wasn't a bot. That was him.
He's
Okay,
working on a
yeah,
bot.
true,
He
true.
doesn't have one yet.
But yeah,
But
no, I like him. He's a cool dude. He puts out good stuff. He's a jokester also, which is kind of great because this can be a very tense business that we're in, and it's nice to have people that can make jokes and sort of lighten the mood a little bit.
yeah, I've been hopping in the Discord chats lately, like on the After Hour server. I've been hopping
Yeah.
in there and just talking to random people. Um, and some of them gave great call outs, dude. Like they day trade in there. Like you just have like six people sharing screens with each other, and it's all their charts, and they're just in there comparing charts and like calling out plays. It's pretty insane. I've been hopping in
Oh
there
wow.
lately. Yeah, it's pretty nuts, dude. Like there's a couple people, this dude named Alloy, and then this dude named like Brayflex. Both of them were just in there like
Brayflex
they're
is a beast. Let me just tell you
they're both
guys.
trying to make like
Brayflex.
$500 a day, just day like making one or two trades a day. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that was going on. I might have to
Yeah,
check it
I've been
out.
hopping
But
in on
at the
there
same
all the
time,
time.
yeah, at the same time, I don't want to get distracted.
Yeah. They call out the like they're sitting there charting SPY and then they'll be like, okay, it's at its bottom, buy in now, and then I'll click buy and then it'll and then like 10 minutes later they're like sell, sell, sell. I'm like, okay, sell. And I made like $100 off like a $10 call or something like that. I'm just like, bet.
Dude,
Yeah, a lot
if
of people try to get like 30%, and sometimes it can happen pretty quickly and they get out. I know MPO, Never Pull Over, he does that. He used to do it all the time, but then he tried a different trading tactic and it didn't work out. But yeah, by the time he posted it, within like a minute, he would already be out. So those
But
kinds
if
of
you catch
swings
it at
are
its
always nice to
bottom and
get
then it
into as a day trader.
swings,
Sorry?
what was that? What was that day zero?
because when you're sitting there trying to chart a bottom and then you see it hit, like literally at its bottom and you buy in. By the time you call it out somewhere, like on a different social media, and then come back, it'll already start going back up because you bought it at its bottom and then posted about it. So I mean, of
Right,
course,
and then also added on to that, then the person reading the post has to open their app, go into it, and buy. By then the price movement's already jumped or dropped, whichever you're going for.
yeah, most likely, yeah. And but when we're sitting there trading
Yeah,
together and we all have it pulled up and like on a separate screen or like on a separate tab, like you have like your Robinhood pulled up. I mean, it's pretty easy to just jump into those trades. Like they
yeah,
they they jumped into Archer the other day because like I said, like Fox News had been talking about it and they were talking about how the spaceships and stuff, like some expert got on there and he's like, "Oh no, that's a VTOL aircraft." And like he was just going into it and like I was like, "What the freak? Am I listening to this right now?" So then I instantly like posted about that, and I didn't buy any calls because was about to take a nap and I couldn't watch it. But literally, I think Archer went up like 20%. I don't remember what happened that day. Maybe it was the calls I was watching. Archer went up. I know that. Let me check.
I believe Archer did go up that
Like,
day.
oh yeah, it was up nearly 20%, dude. That's crazy.
Oh, is that the day that it ran up to like $10?
No, that was Friday, I believe. Where it ran up like 18%. It ran up to 841 from like seven something, like from like 710, 715.
I got actually I do have ACHR calls expiring this week, and I was trying to think of how to play this out because I heard Kathy Wood
What's your
invested
strike on those?
8.50.
Okay.
Yeah, you should be fine. It should run up to around $9.
So you think I should sell at 9?
When Archer Aviation hits around $9, you should be pretty heavily in the by then. So
Yeah, I was gonna say though, Kathy Wood invested into it, and I hear that's the kiss of death. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, I've heard about that.
She's kind of like inverse Kramer, and when she invests in the companies, they drop. And I was thinking about selling it tomorrow morning at open because I don't need that juju.
it did run up a heavy amount on Friday, so I mean, you could see an initial drop. It's really up to you, man. I'm just happy my Palantir calls are printing. Palantir and MicroStrategy should both print pretty well. SoFi looks like it's going up in the overnight. Hopefully that continues into the day. Um, Tesla's running in the overnight. It's gonna go to $500 just from the cult following alone.
What's that,
Yeah,
Tesla?
Tesla.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
this is a Tesla call week.
Bitcoin
so
is,
too.
yeah, it might be Tesla call Monday.
Yeah.
Bitcoin is at
Monday.
104.9 right now, which means MicroStrategy is at 433.40, MSTX at 116.75.
See, there's no correlation.
Nope,
Right.
there's no correlation. I mean, like
It goes
obviously, but
down. MicroStrategy goes down a lot.
I mean, I'm holding this MSTX because I'm a firm believer that MicroStrategy is going to go to 500 pretty soon. I mean, we
Yeah,
we could
I believe it's going to run up to 500.
we could see 500 easily by the end of the week, very easily.
And quite a bit of swings as well.
Well, is there anything else you guys want to go over before we call it good on here?
Mm-hmm.
I think we're good.
All right. Any stocks you guys want to shout out before we jump into this? Any plays for Monday?
Yeah, so I made a post on After Hour
That's
about
New Fish Big Pond, right?
what's that? Oh,
New
yeah,
Fish
New
Big
Fish
Pond.
Big Pond. I made a post on After Hour about CKPT, Checkpoint Therapeutics. What happened was after the market closed on Friday, it was announced that they received approval from the FDA for their newest skin cancer drug. And the stock shot up 16.6% in aftermarket trading. It is not available on overnight trading. So that means that if you want in, you can first get it in the morning on the pre-market trading, or you can wait until the regular session. But I'm going to be buying 100 shares of it just because I expect it to run. There are some issues with the company, but they have funding. They have enough money to last them 12 to 18 months. So that makes me comfortable. They definitely need some partnerships to keep going, but with just receiving an FDA approval, I think that gets the partners running to you, not you running to the partners. You
Any
know,
earnings plays
so
for
Mm-hmm.
next week?
what's that?
Any earnings plays for next week?
Say that one more time.
Oh, any earnings plays for next week?
Oh, any earnings? I haven't even looked at who's doing earnings next week. Let me pull that up real
I
quick.
think it's MU and then Micron.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
it's up in the
is
Ooh, Micron
overnight.
could be big.
It's already
that
up in the
is next
overnight,
week.
dude.
Let's see
Like, and
here.
it's not even. Dude, imagine buying
Um,
Micron at that
oh,
$97, dude. Oh man, it's
Mm,
tough.
if there's any Red Cat shareholders listening, Red Cat Holdings has their earnings report on Monday.
Oh, it's up 17%, dude, on Friday, Red Cat.
yeah, that's
Um,
why it's going up. It's anticipation.
right.
What about
So who knows what's really going to
OPTG?
happen with that stock? I think I don't know if it's going to keep going up. To be honest, after earnings, but uh,
I mean,
this is
with
how
their
earnings is, though. This is
they have
drones.
they have drones, so they do have drones. They have they have. Oh, here's a good one. Wow, this just popped up here. So on Wednesday, Lennar Homes has their earnings after
What's that
close.
ticker?
I would do puts on that. That's what I'm thinking.
Lennar
Um,
Get
Homes.
on puts.
What's the ticker?
yeah, LEN, Larry Elevator Nuclear. Um, so the home builders have not been doing well lately. Their stock prices have dropped. I was just watching a portion on this on CNBC on Friday, and I would I might bet against Lennar Homes. I got to think about that one, but a put on Lennar seems good to me. Um, they just haven't been hitting it. Carnival Cruise Lines is before open on Friday. I've had people ask me about that. And that stock actually looks like it's been doing well, if I remember correctly. Nike is after close on the 13th,
Ooh,
if
what's
anybody's
Nike's
interested
stock
in
price
that.
at?
Wait. You said the 13th,
I'm sorry, on Thursday, on the 19th. I got Thursday and
19th.
10th.
Okay.
I was, I'm mixing words and numbers, dude. Come on.
Yeah, of course.
You didn't know what I meant when I said 13th? Come on. Obviously the 19th.
I was gonna say that's old news, but I didn't hear anything about Nike.
It's old but new. Nobody
with
knows.
the
No,
with
nobody
Nike's
knows.
new CEO, they
I'm
actually
gonna play
might.
Nike. I'm
It
not gonna
actually might be
lie.
a good one.
So I'm very bullish on Nike's new CEO. Hopefully he's in that
Hmm.
call, and FedEx as well is another one. Micron, Nike, and FedEx. But
Yeah, I
I
saw the
think
resume of the
Nike's
Nike's.
gonna run.
I saw the resume of the Nike CEO, and he's just a Nike lifer, pretty much. And
Hmm.
In their
he
30
got
years,
like
I think.
promoted. Yeah, he got like promoted like every like I don't know 2 to 4 years in his job. Like
Wow.
it's just crazy. And then like he got into sales, and then he became like VP of sales, and
He was
now he's
just
the
made the CEO
CEO.
like a few months ago, which saw the
Yeah,
stock go up like to 78 or so. And then
Yeah.
since then it's, went down, down up. But I think if he's
Where is it
present in the
sitting now?
earnings, $77, dude.
Okay.
I could see it going
I
up
To
think
to
it's
me,
gonna jump up.
85, $90 just off of the
yeah,
earnings
it's about
call if he's bullish.
I, I was about to say to me that says by 2 week calls on Monday. You
Really.
don't want to be buying right before earnings. Earnings will be priced in a little bit tomorrow
Mm,
morning, but you might be able to save a
Hmm.
little bit of money. Um, but yeah, no, I'm bullish on that. I'm real bullish on
I'm
Nike,
very
especially
bullish
with
on
their new
Nike's
CEO.
new CEO. He said, just
I
give
wonder how
me
much.
a year and I'll
Sorry.
have Nike back to its all-time high. That's what he said when he got back in. So I'm pretty bullish.
Well, I mean, they might end the year on a high note. What do you think? Like $80 calls maybe on Monday? That could be a good one.
Yeah, those would print, I believe.
I think those
I
could,
think so too.
especially here. Let me get into the options list here before I cut the stream.
I know you're gonna do that, but the thing is they update on market open. So
Yeah, it
what you
won't be
see
too
now is
big of a
probably not going to be,
difference.
Yeah, what you see now will not be the same price, most
but
likely.
it's saying 2.49 for $80 calls. So
The Jan 17th
but
call would
now
cost about the same as a. I mean, I might go for Jan 17 call out of the money a little bit.
What are you thinking? 85?
No, I was thinking of a $90 call for January 17th. I'm gonna look at the here, let me see. I said 90.
that's
Open
affordable.
interest is 26,000, dude. That's crazy.
The open interest on
26,000
Wow.
a
open
$90 call is
interest.
26,000?
Yeah.
Open
Wow.
interest on the
So if the open
$90.
interest is that high, when the open interest is that high, the way that I usually do it is I usually go about one or two strikes just below that
So 85.
because
Open interest on the
that's
one
where
below
max
that
pain.
is
What's that?
16,000. The $85 mark is still 16,000 open interest. Nike has a huge open interest for this week. Uh,
Right.
January 17th.
See, so for what I was saying is if the highest open interest is 26,000, right? I'll usually go for a strike or two below what that highest open interest is because that's what we call max pain, and that's when the institutions, the hedge funds get involved, and they don't want to pay out those calls, so they'll do a little bit of price manipulation. They'll keep the price down a little bit. For example, when I was buying Rocket Lab calls, sorry, Darren,
Uh,
when I was buying Rocket Lab calls for 12.20, I noticed that the strike price on $25 call was the open interest was real high, and so I went with the one that was just below that, which was 22.50. And as we saw this past week, Rocket Lab wanted to get to 25, but the price was being manipulated.
It looks like
The price was being held down.
it looks
I'm a cry,
like
man.
it looks like the $80 strike for December 20th is the highest open interest one right now. So looks like everyone's earnings plays off that $80 strike, which I don't agree with personally. I think I'd want
I
to
think it'll be
go.
higher.
I think it'll be higher. That's
If
crazy.
if it's at 77 right now.
I mean, you're
Oh
right.
Hmm.
wait, no, but earnings is Thursday.
Yeah, earnings is Thursday, so then that would put it at Friday. So I mean, that's decent. But I mean, I think I'd just for the extra cushion, I'd hit that Jan 17th because it's not that much more expensive, which is
See, I
what
was
a
thinking
lot of
about a
people are thinking now.
12.27.
Is what it sounds like. 1227. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's 250,
That's
right?
about the same price as the other one is. Oh no, it's yeah, it's about the same price as the December 20th. Let me look at the open interest. Open interest is a
And another
lot lower on that date.
while you're looking at that, I'll give my reasoning. A, we've got the new CEO who I'm super bullish on. But B, we by the 27th, we will have finished holiday shopping season. And so, a lot of, Nike, we'll use Air Jordans as an example. Air Jordans are not cheap shoes. A lot of kids will get them as their Christmas presents. And so that holiday shopping, that season will be done by the 27th. We'll know what those numbers are. And, Nike will absolutely be reporting those numbers. Or the Retail Federation of America will be reporting those numbers. Somebody will be reporting it. So, in my opinion, that'll make the stock price go up.
Definitely.
Yeah, makes sense.
Darren, do you have anything you want to say before we drop out?
Yeah, I'm Darren on After Hour. And I'm going to be focusing more on MicroStrategy this week. I'm going to try to not focus on anything else. My plays are going to be MSTX. I'm going to look into getting MSTU on the split. I'm going to get MSTY, especially whenever I get my dividends soon. And so I'm mainly going to be focusing on MicroStrategy. And maybe I'll probably even get a call because I am bullish on it, and I do think it's going to run up for the most part for the next month.
Well, perfect, man. And then New Fish Big Pond, did you have anything you want to say real quick?
Yeah, I'm at New Fish Big Pond on After Hour. Feel free to follow me if you don't. I'd say about 95% of the time, send out my buy and sell signals that I do. This week, I will be focusing on my MicroStrategy 415 call. I'll let everyone know if you have calls. I'll let you know when I sell mine. I'll be looking at this MSTX, and I'll let you know when I sell it to flip it into MSTY for the reasons that I've already gone over and that Darren's gone over as far as the dividends are concerned and the dividend drip, which only helps you in the long run. This week, I'll be looking to exercise a Rocket Lab call that I have expiring at the end of the week, which is a $22.50 call. So I'll be looking at that. I'm going to throw in IONQ just to remind everyone about quantum computing. IONQ is, in my opinion, a front runner. They're a leader in that space. And if you don't have it on your radar, RGTI, Rigetti Computers, is another good quantum computing stock that I'm in, or I was in with shares. I had 100 shares. I sold it to secure profits, but I still have a $2.50 call for January 17th, which I will absolutely exercise whenever I'm ready to. That stock's trading, I think, over $7 right now, so that's a big winner. I'll be keeping an eye on NVIDIA this week as well. I've got a NVIDIA 143 call. And I will be, tomorrow morning, I'll be buying 100 shares of CKPT, Checkpoint Therapeutics, for the reasons that we went over earlier during this live stream.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Everybody in the chat, take care and have a wonderful evening. And hopefully at Market Open, we're not all screwed over. Appreciate you guys and
Yeah.
have a wonderful evening. Thank you guys.